Madrid, Spain. It is the capital of the country and one of the largest cities in the European Union. But tonight, it is the capital of the CrossFit world as we kick off the 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games season. We are inside the Caja, Mágica, a venue that should be familiar to CrossFit fans. It has a history with the sport. It has played host to regionals and the invitational, and now it can add open announcement to that list. Thanks so much for being with us, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland with Chase Ingram. Lauren Smith will be joining us here in a second. And Chase, last year we really ended the Open on a high note. CrossFit Hendersonville, packed house at an affiliate, a lot of energy. We're picking up where we left off.
I mean, Hendersonville, Caja, Mágica. It is unbelievable atmosphere that we have, and I cannot wait to get 23.1 underway to see what Boz has in store for an entire season, start to finish.
Let's send it down to the third member of our broadcast crew. She is smack dab in the middle of the CrossFit community from here in Madrid.
Oh my gosh, I really am. Can you even get your head around this atmosphere? We're so excited to be here in the heart of Madrid, kicking off our CrossFit season, and in the middle of this controlled chaos, I'm joined by three people who are at the forefront of the open participation in this part of the world. Fran, we've got Jennifer, and we've got Uwe. Fran, how exciting is it to be kicking off the open just down the road from your affiliate?
All of members and staff of our boxes are very excited for stay here today. Thank you so much to give us the opportunity to show the world the Spanish CrossFit community. Thank you.
Jennifer, what does make this incredible community so special?
Oh, I've lived in Spain 6 years now, and since I arrived, I've only seen CrossFit take this upward trajectory. I think we have one of the biggest growths in the world, and the Spanish people are very passionate about everything, including CrossFit. So we're excited to be here.
I love it. Uwe, now, we're sat here facing a rig, and there are a few clues up there. What do you think we might see tonight?
I look the rings and look the target. I think the movement will be toss to ring and wall ball.
Well, we do not have long to wait. Guys, thank you for all you do, not just in your affiliates, but in the community at large. Sean and Chase, back to you.
If Lauren Smith is not crowd surfing by the end of the night, I'm going to be very disappointed. We have a jam-packed evening on hand for you here. We are in the warm-up show presented by NOBULL. After that, we will have the live announcement of 23.1 presented by GoWatt. We're going to have two heats, one comprised of local athletes from here in Madrid, the other the elite athletes that we have brought in, and then it's going to want to stick around for the cool-down show as two of those athletes will join Chase Ingram up here in the booth. But four of the best in the world and four European athletes here tonight: Horvath, Gabi, Migala, Bjorgvin, Karl, Gudmundsson, and Lazar, Dukic.
Well, you said it. These are some of the best European athletes that we have, but they're also some of the best in the world, and it speaks to the density of elite athletes that we have here in the European region. And to have these two matchups side by side, head to head, is one hell of a way to kick off the season.
Europe has always had a big presence on the CrossFit stage, and a lot of that has to do with their affiliates, the athletes that shine on the world stage, and the competitions that they hold here in the off-season.
One of the coolest things to see here in Spain that is just replicated everywhere in the world is the average person coming in, getting fitter, getting enthusiastic about this, joining in something like the Open, even if they have no aspirations of competing. You know, CrossFit really does have the power to change your life as an individual, and by extension, your community, your country, the world at large.
I think in Europe it's still like growing very much. Like a lot of gyms are opening, more athletes are coming on. People should acknowledge like Europe more a little bit than they actually do, because we are pretty legit.
I think the community in Europe has always been like strong. I think we have always had like a pretty good group of people and fans that come out. Since I started doing CrossFit, it's just not the same sport. It's been growing so much since then.
I mean, I was the first Polish athlete qualifying for the games, so I think it was just a very big deal for Poland. And now I'm the first Polish athlete doing the open announcement, so that's another amazing thing.
I know so many people that went to CrossFit and they stay there just because they felt such a change in their body, in their health, in their social life. Because I feel like all three is connected in CrossFit. Like you meet new friends, you get healthier, and you just work on yourself, both mentally and physically. CrossFit is making a great impact in the world, and I'm excited to be a part of that, and that's also the reason I wanted to do this. It's good to be a part of that.
The last 10 years, the growing of CrossFit has been crazy in this country and all over Europe. What happened inside the box? What happened with the community? That magic is maybe like that magic is changing the people. What happened inside the box? What happened with the methodology? What happened with everybody who comes to us? I think we are changing that in person. We are changing the people. We are changing the society. We are building better persons and with more health. And that's all.
And here's a closer look at Europe's footprint on the CrossFit landscape. Of all the affiliates around the world, more than a third of them are here in Europe. Europe leads with 6 of the 10 countries for open registration right now, and of all the trainers around the world, almost a quarter of them call this continent home. Let's go back down to Lauren. She's with 2 people who are fostering CrossFit's growth here in Spain.
I am indeed 2 powerful women at the forefront of CrossFit in this country. Nat Diaz, Spain's CrossFit country manager, and Sofia Esteban, the sports councillor for Madrid. Now, Nat, there is a great story behind how the Open came to Madrid. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about it?
A little bit. So, you know that the growth in Spain, not just for the affiliates, but as well, open participation has been growing like quite a lot, like strongly. Just last year, in open participation, we've increased like 30% plus. So I basically email our CEO, Donful, and say, hey, we should highlight this, like the passion and commitment of this community, maybe with an open announcement, right? So here we are.
Here we are, and I am so glad you did. Sofia, the relationship between CrossFit and the city of Madrid, I mean, you're an avid CrossFitter yourself. How exciting is that from where you're standing?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being here in Madrid, and thank you to Nat, because she was the biggest support to have this event here, so thank you very much. And thank you to all the crowd we have here. You can feel all the passion, the Spanish passion, and we are very happy because here in Madrid we have more than 600 boxes. That means that we have thousands and thousands of people practicing CrossFit every day. So that means that from the part of the City Hall, we are going to support CrossFit to grow and get bigger, not only here in Madrid, but in Spain.
I am so excited to hear that. Guys, thank you so much. No matter if you're watching 23.1 here in the Caja Mágica, or whether you're at home or watching around the world, you get the sense as we approach the first round of the Open that we are all in this together. That is, of course, just the magic of CrossFit.
And when we moved to town, man, we were family rich. It was great, but I had no friends. When I came to Auburn, everyone was friendly, but they all had their people. And so it was tough to find friends. And that's why I came to CrossFit, actually.
I believe that CrossFit is a great vehicle that brings people through the door, but fitness is everything. I mean, it's our emotional fitness, our mental fitness. And for a lot of people, I think they walk through the door of Auburn CrossFit for that hour, for that great hour of the day that provides them the release that they need.
People at Auburn CrossFit are some of the most surprising parts. I didn't anticipate that. Man, we have a a 92-year-old CrossFitter here. Annie is famous. She's the one that inspires the entire box.
My name is Annie Holmes. I'm going to be 93 in January.
She started CrossFit at 89 and had never really done any type of fitness that I'm aware of.
Never in any universe did I think my mother would consider going to any kind of a gym.
I just fall in love with the way my body was changing, that I was finding muscles I never had.
That's one of the things that I think that people undervalue is the importance of we're all going to age, and something's going to be difficult at some point, but things such as CrossFit make those recoveries or those difficult times more bearable because we have laid the groundwork.
But in all cases, however people get it done, what matters is that they get these ideas in their bodies. They don't just keep it in their heads. They need to put themselves on the hook to do something that is just uncomfortable, because when they do that, they discover benefits that you can't get from shopping to deal with your depression. You can only get from challenge. And challenge is this rare gift that increasingly, in a world that worships comfort at every turn, we desperately need it. Our kids need it. Our parents need it. I need it. And if I'm not actively looking for uncomfortable things, what's going to happen is I'm going to drift into comfort at every turn. And we know where comfort leads us. Comfort leads us to places that we don't want to go. And what we're all craving is to be alive. It's not just about working out. It's about how do I deal with hard things everywhere in my life? And if I don't practice that, when hard things come, when I don't pick them, I'm not going to be in a very strong position to deal with it.
In CrossFit, we measure our results and share them on the whiteboard or the leaderboard. This takes courage, but it fosters accountability that drives results. So be courageous, rise to the challenge, reap the rewards in the CrossFit Open. You can register now at games.crossfit.com. Now, not only is the Worldwide Open a celebration of the community, but it is also the beginning of the season as we kick off the 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games season. The structure has remained mostly the same. There are some new additions as the sport continues to grow. The Open, a 3-week test starting tonight. That leads to the quarterfinals. Top 10% of the athletes and the top 25% of the teams from the Open will advance on to the quarterfinals, and from there it is on to the semifinals. Those begin April 28th. And it features the top athletes and teams from the quarterfinals, and then the best of the best move on to the CrossFit Games, August 1st through the 6th in Madison, Wisconsin. And one of the new things this season, as the sport continues to progress, is the new worldwide ranking system.
Yes, they're going to take that entire season structure over a sample size of 2 years and create a worldwide ranking system from 1 to a couple thousand. And we look at Tia Claire Toomey still stands atop the leaderboard over the last 2 years of competition, 10 points of having a perfect score of 34,000 points. But Laura Horvath, Mal O'Brien are sitting there in second and third, just as we've seen over the last couple of years at the CrossFit Games. On the men's side, you do have Justin Medeiros leading the charge, about 10,000 points ahead of Pat Vellner. But BKG and Lazar Dukic, sitting at third and fifth, are competing here tonight.
A lot of great storylines to follow as we head into the 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games season. Let's start on the women's side, where right now it's more about who isn't in than who is. Tia Toomey, the woman who has stood atop the Games podium the last 6 years, stepping away from competition. Who's the heir apparent?
Well, we just said him on top of the leaderboard for the worldwide rankings. Laura Horvath, Mal O'Brien, two athletes that were sitting in second, third last year at the CrossFit Games. But look for Brooke Wells. She had a very uncelebrated 5th place finish after a devastating elbow injury last year. I would be saying this might be the year she could crack the podium.
And this could be the year that youth really dominates on the women's side.
I mean, we saw what they did last year and what they've been doing for the last 2 years. What Emma Lawson did as her rookie debut. Emma Carey is back. She had a great performance in Wodapalooza after that back injury last year, and Paige Powers, your 2023 Wodapalooza female champion. I think that boost of confidence is going to set her up well for this season.
And we wanted to talk about Haley Adams possibly getting to the podium this year, focusing on the strength work. She has just announced on social media that she is stepping away from competition this season for personal reasons.
Yeah, she's going to step away. She said she's been competing at the sport of CrossFit since she was 14, and this year with some struggles of just trying to step back and just get back to being Haley is what she said. But she also said, though she is stepping away this year, she looks forward to a comeback in 2024.
We have some of the best athletes in the world here tonight. Laura Horvath, second worldwide coming into the season. She has back-to-back podium finishes at the CrossFit Games, 3 total in her career. And for the men, Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson, third place overall, has been the picture of consistency since he got into the games for the first time in 2014. He's been inside the top 10 8 straight times. And let's talk about the men's storylines now heading into the season. And last year it was all about who can stop Justin Medeiros. Well, there were 2 guys that looked like they might have a shot, Roman Krennikov and Ricky Garard.
And we have the new 3 horsemen in the men's division here at the CrossFit Games between Ricky, Roman, and Justin Medeiros. It's pretty hard to win the games once, let alone back-to-back. That three-peat may be in jeopardy with these 2 athletes quick on his heels.
From the 3 horsemen to the 3 moose men, we go north of the border. Pat Vellner, Jeff Adler, and Brent Fikowski. Who's going to emerge as the king of the north?
I mean, think about those 2 guys have been perennial podium contenders, if not for a first-place position. But look out for Jeff Adler, 5th place at last year's CrossFit Games. This guy is climbing up the ranks, and he may be the new king of the north when it's all said and done.
The youth movement has been underway on the women's side. Is this the year it really gets going in earnest for the men?
We've been waiting for this for a long time, Sean, but Dallin Pepper cracked that glass ceiling last year, and he opened up the door for athletes like Tudor Magda. Super strong, amazing inverted gymnastics when it comes to handstand walks. But James Sprague, just a point or 2 out of qualifying last year, and Guillermo Majeros, one of the most dynamic and celebrated athletes we have in this sport. It's going to be exciting to see if he can take that next step.
2 of the best in Europe will be going head-to-head tonight as Lazar Dukic faces off with Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson. The 2 of them inside the top 5 in the worldwide rankings. Both finished just 1 spot away from each other at the CrossFit Games. Lazar Dukic is a man on the rise here, but Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson still the man in Europe.
Exactly. Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson is the bar when it comes to elite male athletes, not just in Europe, but the entire sport over the last 15 years. But as we look at what BKG has done and can still do, Lazar Dukic is just one of those slow, steady guys on the rise when it comes to the sport of CrossFit. He's a great 2 seasons last year. He qualified in 2019, didn't even take the invite because he didn't think he was ready. So the maturity this guy has is impressive, and I can't wait to see what he does this year.
Let's send it down to the warm-up area. Lauren Smith is with Lazar Dukic and Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson.
I am indeed, and when you're talking about title contenders, you can't actually look that much further than the 2 guys flanking me now. They've got to be in the mix. But Lazar, this matchup is so exciting, but it's not a new one. You and Bjorgvin have come head-to-head. 9 points separated you at the games. You fought for that podium place at the Lowlands semi-final. What have you been doing in off-season that's going to separate you tonight?
Well, first of all, it's great being here with BK. He's been top European athlete for a long time, and going against him is great. With that being said, I've been training hard since the games were over, and I've been fixing some holes, and I'm going to try and climb up the leaderboard for the next season even more.
Well, glad to hear it. Shot's been fired, BKG. What about you? You are a dab hand. You've been at this game for so long, but there is a little bit of a new feature this year in the worldwide rankings. How's that changed your motivation for the coming season?
Yeah, I think everyone kind of figured out that the Open wouldn't matter so much, but since they have added some points to it, it actually does matter a little bit. So I'm just going to try to do my best out here tonight. You know, it's a little later than it is back home when I train, but it's very exciting. It's a great venue, and it looks like the Spanish fans are ready for some action.
Well, we can't wait for the action either. Good luck. We look forward to chatting to you a little bit later on in the show. Now let's head on back to CrossFit's favorite power couple.
That is a low bar if we're the favorite. This couple's going to be fun to watch. Laura Horvath taking on Gabriela Migala on the women's side of things, both of them inside the top 6 in the worldwide rankings. Laura Horvath racked up her 3rd podium finish at the CrossFit Games last year, and Gabi Migala coming in 8th place. Kind of a similar story. You got Horvath, the established athlete, and then you have the rising star in Gabi Migala.
It is quite the pairing we have tonight between these two pairs of athletes, but Laura Horvath has been knocking on that first place door multiple times. The thing I love about her the most is that she is not afraid to tell you what she wants when it comes to her goals for the game season. And she's been saying it every year for the last few years. She wants to win the games. She thinks she can win the games. And when you couple that with her, it's going to be pretty impressive to see. Gabriela Migala, she has been on the rise for the last few years, switching training camps. She's working with Christoph Horvath. That might be the key to success to catapult her higher up the leaderboard.
Let's go back down to the warm-up area. Lauren Smith with Gabi Migala and Laura Horvath.
I am indeed, and I'm also exceptionally excited about this matchup as well. But Gabi, after all of the time that you had spent in Spain, in Mallorca training, does this feel like an environment you're used to? Maybe a little bit of home advantage?
Oh, totally. I mean, I lived in Spain for almost 3 years already, and I moved back to Poland around 2 weeks ago, so it's really good to be back, and I think Spain is always going to be my home.
That's really nice. So very much lots of people cheering you on tonight. Laura, this matchup's exciting because you two are so close. You're friends, you were teammates at Wodapalooza, but you also get onto that floor and you're competitors. How does the familiarity between you two change when you hit the competition floor?
Oh, I think it changed a little bit, but at the same time, we went head-to-head at multiple stages of the season, like regionals, games, but nothing is compared to this. It's like just 2 of us head-to-head in this special crowd, so I think it's going to be really nice for us to experience this.
I think it's going to be really fun for us as well. Girls, have a great time, but these 4 are not the only ones taking part tonight. We have got 4 local athletes from boxes around Madrid waiting in the wings, and we'll catch up with them a little bit later on.
Those 4 athletes from right here in Madrid, members of the CrossFit community that is well represented here at the Caja Mágica, and these 4 represent some of the best that this community has to offer.
They absolutely do, and one of the greatest things about the Open is that it is the kickoff to the game season, but even more so, it's a chance for all of us in the CrossFit community to get together. And these 4 athletes coming through from 3 major affiliates here in Madrid, they are in the top 10 of registration last year in 2022 and making their way back up this year. And the affiliates is the bedrock for the CrossFit community that which we build on, and we're going to celebrate these athletes today.
The NOBULL CrossFit Games Open is underway, and that means you can receive $25 to spend at NOBULL. Each person who completes registration will receive $25 to spend at NOBULL on an order of $99 or more. Head to NOBULLproject.com/CrossFit Open to get going. 23.1 coming up next. The 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Open is presented by GoWad, the official mobility partner of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. NOBULL, the official footwear and apparel brand of CrossFit. Trifecta, the official meal delivery partner of CrossFit. And Wild Health, the official precision medicine partner of the NOBULL CrossFit Games.
Are you ready for a challenge?
Then get ready for the 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games Open.
The Open is a giant community event
that brings people together from all over the world to test their fitness.
It may be the first stage of the CrossFit Games season, but the Open is for anyone, regardless of your age or your ability level.
It's for me.
And me.
And me.
If you're new to CrossFit, this is a great time to get started.
To set some goals and commit to your health and fitness in 2023.
The Open includes 3 workouts you can complete at your gym,
in your garage, or anywhere you have space, equipment,
and a group of your closest friends.
It all starts February 16th, and it only costs $20 to join.
CrossFit will announce the workouts live every Thursday for 3 weeks.
Then we all have until the following Monday to complete the workout and submit our scores.
But these aren't just any workouts.
These are tests. Tests you'll share with hundreds of thousands of other people.
And there's a version for everyone.
When you share your score, it will show up on the worldwide CrossFit Games leaderboard.
You can represent your gym, your region or country, or yourself.
So be strong and have courage.
No matter where you land, I'll be cheering you on and celebrating your effort.
So join me.
And me.
And me in the CrossFit Open.
Register now at games.crossfit.com.
For many, it is an outlet.
2 straight unranked wins for the defending CrossFit Games champion.
For some, it is an identity.
Justin Medeiros is the fittest man on earth.
It can take us from who we are today to who we want to be tomorrow.
Knocking on the door yet again.
Training is everything.
My name's Rich Froning, 4-time individual CrossFit Games champion, 5-time affiliate cup champion. As I've gotten more advanced in my career, nutrition has taken more of a front seat to go along with my training, and RP has helped me over the last couple of years dial that in and take the guesswork out of what I'm doing. Nutrition timing is a huge piece, as well as nutrition or macro count. And currently I'm eating 100 grams of fat, 200 grams of protein, and about 500 grams of carbohydrates. We've played around with that over the years, but that's kind of what we've settled on, especially this time of year. RP diet has helped me a ton, and it can help you too.
The road to the CrossFit Games begins in Europe. 4 of the top athletes in the world take center stage in Madrid. Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson, Lazar Dukic, Gabriella Migala, Laura Horvath, all have their sights on the podium in Madison. Their journeys begin tonight. The Open is here. And the CrossFit community is ready to see what Adrian Bosman pulls out of his hat at the Caja Mágica. The first test is about to be revealed. The live announcement of 23.1 is next.
Welcome to 23.1, live from here in Madrid, the Caja Mágica. And what a crowd we have. Vamos von CrossFit! We found Pacifico! Where are you guys? Guys, what an atmosphere. Wenger, CrossFit, Caja! Well, we have a huge atmosphere here. The decibels are rising, and we've not even announced our first athlete. So, without further ado, and everybody here in the stadium, please make some noise, get behind your affiliate, and let your athletes know that you're behind them, because we all need a little bit of that when it comes to the Open. Put your hands together for Camilla Glanizo! From We Found Pacifico! Louis Fernandez from Full CrossFit! Carlos Del Arco from CrossFit We Found Pacifico! Camila, you're going to be the first people in the entire world to take on 23.1. How do you manage the nerves in this situation?
Oof, you have no clue how I'm feeling right now, but you know what? I just really want to enjoy this opportunity because it's once in a lifetime.
I really hope you do enjoy this opportunity. In terms of throwing down in front of an entire community from here in Spain, how special of a moment is this?
Oh, that's very special, and being able to celebrate the growth of CrossFit in Spain is amazing.
Well, we've heard from the athletes. What about their coaches and box owners from here in Spain? To announce 23.1 presented by GoWaz, we have Francisco Ruiz, Uwe Henningsmeier, and Jennifer Lopez. Fran, that's a very important envelope you have in your hand. Maybe you'll do the honors?
Yeah, I'm very excited for that moment. So. 23.1 is, I repeat,
$23.1 is a 14-minute cheaper.
Are you ready?
I think so. 23.1 is 14.4. 60-calorie row, 50 toes to bars, 40 wall ball shots, 30 cleans, and 20 muscle ups.
I don't think anyone could have predicted that. Did Boz do a good job? You know what? I actually remember this workout, right? This probably was one of my first ever open workouts. And I remember getting to the muscle ups and obviously not being able to do them. But you know what? You can haul, you can just go that first lot of reps. You go all the way to the cleans as fast as you can, can't you? Not everyone's gonna have muscle ups in the locker. Wow, everyone, are we all relaxed? We're all on board, yeah? Yeah, we're all on board. Well, I am going to go and find out whether our elites around backstage, what they think of 23.1, but you guys at home, when you give this a go, it needs to look a little something like this.
CrossFit Games Open Test 23.1 is a repeat of the classic open workout 14.4. In 14 minutes, complete as many repetitions as possible of 60 calories on the rower, 50 toes to bar, 40 wall ball shots, 30 cleans, and 20 muscle ups. Your score is the total number of repetitions completed inside the 14-minute time cap. For the official movement standards, as well as specific information for each division, download the official 23.1 scorecard from games.crossfit.com.
There are 3 variations to this workout. You can take it on RX, scaled, or foundations. Just head to games.crossfit.com for all the details before you take on 23.1. But I want to bring in our elite athletes because, I mean, it's quite a shock, isn't it, when you hear a workout like that? Bjorgvin, do you remember your strategy in 2014? Do you think it still applies today?
I don't know. No, I don't remember the strategy or whatever my score was, but it's been a while. But it looks good. Looks like a fun workout.
Yeah, I do think it'll be a fun workout. Laura, that must have been near enough your first ever Open. Do you have any memories of that day?
The only memory I have from that year is I didn't, not me. My older brother was supposed to upload my score and he didn't, so I just didn't do the rest of the workouts, but that's my only memory that year. So unfortunately, I don't remember this workout, but it looks very fun, so I can't wait to do it.
I love that you've called out Christoph in that. Lazar, now this is obviously your first open announcement. You've just heard it. There's going to be a huge amount of grip fatigue in something like this. So how do you minimize that?
Well, I will just keep it steady from the beginning and maybe rest on those cleans a bit, so I can do bigger sets of muscle ups and yeah, complete as many reps as I can, and that's about it.
Well, don't give away too much. BKG's just behind you. Gabi, I mean, I'm not sure we can totally blame GoWOD for this because they've just presented it, but they are a partner of yours, and they've just released this incredible thing that, for free, you can download an app, and they give very specific mobilization protocols for warming up for this exact event. So how will you use that in your preparation for 23.1?
So I really love this feature because sometimes you walk into the gym and you are completely confused and you don't really have an idea what to do. And basically they are doing everything for you there. You just need to download the app, open the app, and all the protocol is just presented for you. So it's so easy.
That's awesome. Best of luck. I can't wait to see you guys out there. Well, I do know two mobile gentlemen who have had the finger on that download button from the moment they found out. Chase, Sean, over to you guys.
Well, those two mobile gentlemen are not here, so Chase and I will stand in for them. But we have been able to use that GoWOD app. I use it. It's great. They customize the routine for you. And now they're also adding custom protocols for each open test. So if you hadn't tried it, do yourself a favor. Check it out. You can download it right now for free. A repeat, 14.4 for 23.1. Let's take a look back at the first time that this was announced, and it was at Bellevue CrossFit, or CrossFit Bellevue, just outside of Seattle, Washington. Josh Bridges took on Scott Panchik. They came out at an aggressive pace, and it was Josh Bridges at the end who got the best of Scott Panchik. The top score for the women in 2014, no big shock. The engine from England, Sam Briggs, got back to the rower in round 2 and completed 56 calories. So good luck outrowing that woman. And on the men's side, Rich Froning, he won 277 reps. He completed 17 toes to bar. In fact, only 4 men recorded a rep on the toes to bar in 2014. Sure that is going to change here in 2023. What's your recipe for success presented by Trifecta?
When I start off, I say selective intensity. And what that means is be very selective in where you put the intensity part of this. Like you said, Scott Panchik back 10 years ago went out way too hot on the row. So be selective where you place your intensity. And then be humble before the rings. And what we mean by that is getting to the rings is being humble in one thing. And then when you get there, understand that it's going to be a lot tougher than maybe you might think it will be as you guys get set for those final 20 muscle-ups.
Let's get this thing kicked off. Our first heat, the local athletes from here in Madrid, competition director Adrian Bosman to kick it off.
10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, go.
23.1 from the Caja Mágica in Madrid, Spain is underway. 4 athletes from here in Madrid, the first to take on this repeat test. 60 calories on the rower.
And it's a big buy-in when you got 60 cals on the rower. And if people don't remember, 10 years ago when this event first got announced for 14.4, it was the first time we had ever introduced the rower to the CrossFit Open season. Nice steady pace. A lot different than we saw. It was funny when we look back at Josh and Scott when they tackled this in 14.4. They're a little juiced up for those first 60 cals. Scott Panchik got off the rower in about 2 minutes. Josh Bridges about 25 seconds behind them. And this is a nice steady pace, that 1,400 cal per hour pace. If you need to convert that more to maybe a 500-meter row pace, that's about 145 to 150. So that's a decent pace. 60 calories for the men, probably going to take somewhere between 2 to 3 minutes. Women just a little bit longer than that. The trick to this test is that there's a lot of places where you can lose time. Not so much on the row pace. That's usually you don't want to row too fast because you're going to blow up on the rest of it. But you got toes to bar coming up after this, wall ball shots, cleans at 135 and 95. And if you don't have your rest dialed in, you're just going to bleed time the entire way. And 14 minutes goes by very quick in a chipper like this.
The athletes' names at the top of the screen on the scoring hat match the way that they are situated on the floor. So from left to right, it's Antonio Sanchez, Luis Fernandez, Carlos Del Arco, and Camila Granizo. Sanchez, Fernandez, and Del Arco with just 13 calories remaining. And Granizo is now halfway through her 60-calorie row. After this, it's the 50 toes to bar.
So the crux of this obviously is going to be those 20 muscle-ups at the end. Either you're going to get your first one ever, or you're going to navigate your way through it and try to get back to the rower. But right around the 2:30, 2:45 mark is about a good time for most of the male athletes to come off after the 60 cals.
And if you're someone who is not sure about your muscle-up capacity or even your ability to do them, your tie-break score in this is the time at which you get to the rings.
In which I really love that being the tiebreaker, because maybe you don't have muscle-ups, but the reason why this got programmed for this test for 23.1 is that everyone has an opportunity to do this test RX, right? The toes to bar can be a challenging skill. Well, you got to get through them as much as you can. The wall balls, maybe not so much. That barbell, different story. But just getting through that first part, all the way up to the muscle-ups as fast as you can, is a nasty, nasty test. So I think some people may be overlooking how difficult this can get just getting to the rings themselves.
Well, Del Arco in lane 3 is your leader right now through now 79 of the 200 reps total in this test. Granizo, the only female here in the seat, she's putting the finishing touches on her 60-calorie row. Same calories for the women as for the men.
Same calories on the rowers, same number of muscle-ups on the back end. And what I'm really excited to see 10 years removed is how much the sport has advanced, not just entirely, but on the women's side. If you think about 10 years ago, only 21 women finished the muscle-ups, where the 15 of them actually got a cal or more on the rower. On the men's side, over 1,000 finished this and got to the row, but only 4 got to the toes to bar. I cannot wait to see how far we have come in a decade.
Granizo is getting to work on her toes to bar. She knocked out 6, took a break, went to the chalk bucket. At the 110 rep mark, they will move to the wall balls. And some things have changed with the wall ball this year, and we'll address that as we get closer to that movement, as Sanchez, Fernandez, and Del Arco are getting close to finishing those 50 reps, with Del Arco on the far right side of your screen in the dark blue top, now with just 3 reps remaining. The Del Arco will move on to the 40 wall balls. Now the ball has to be clearly above the mark here. The middle of the ball cannot hit the mark. It has to be clearly above it. So keep that in mind as you're doing this test. And if you're hanging a wall ball target, put the bottom of that target
yes,
at the height. So there is no doubt when the ball hits the target that the rep will count. So again, the middle of the ball has to be clearly above the line here.
When you think about 40 wall ball shots at 20 pounds for the men to 10 feet, 14 for the women to 9. If you just think about that number, it's really not that bad. 40 reps, how bad can it be? Well, after 60 cals on the row, 50 toes to bar on the rig, it gets pretty spicy in a way that some athletes may overlook. And I think that's a big element of this test, this specific chipper, is that each piece by itself doesn't look very daunting or that difficult to do. But once you start compounding the effects as we work our way through the chipper, it gets much tougher than one would think at these individual stages.
Carlos Del Arco continues to lead through 133 reps and counting, but Fernandez is starting to gain some ground on him, as is Antonio Sanchez. Now Del Arco and Fernandez are tied. Fernandez in lane 2.
The game you play throughout this chipper, I call it the can you, should you game. Can I do big sets on toes to bar? Yes. Should I do big sets on toes to bar? Maybe not. Same thing for the wall ball shots. It's just 40 reps. Maybe I can do 2 sets of 20, maybe a couple sets of 10. But should you do that going into the cleans we have coming up next?
I am terrible at toes to bar. And back in 2014, the second time I did this, I did all singles and I beat my first score.
Yeah, just, you know, living that single life.
You're moving and scoring, you know? Del Arco has now moved on to the 30 cleans, as has Fernandez. Antonio Sanchez still on the wall balls, as is Doniso on the far right side of your screen, as she was able to get through her 50 toes to bar. Now we are more than halfway done with this test. 14 total minutes here. There's Antonio Sanchez, closest to the camera, who has now gotten to the barbell.
And quick singles on the bar. See on the right side of your screen. Fernandez, when he got to the bar, ripped off a quick set of unbroken, as many as he could, but then has yet slowed down to these singles. And here's the thing, as you said with toes to bar, Sean, there's nothing wrong with quick singles, because what are we leading into? We're leading into the muscle-ups. And the muscle-ups is the biggest, I would say, obviously it's the highest skill that we have. It's the most difficult movement out here on the floor. But it's a huge, huge time suck. So yes, we've got 6 minutes until we hit that 14-minute cap time. But we saw Josh Bridges and Scott Panchak, granted this was 10 years ago, get reduced to singles when they got to the ring. So how you get there is just as important, if not more, from how fast you get there.
And again, if you're someone who's looking to maximize your place on the leaderboard and you don't have muscle-ups, you want to get there as fast as you can, because again, that is the tie-break time for people who cannot complete a muscle-up. So just keep that in mind as you're going through this test.
And to put in perspective, we're approaching the 9-minute mark, which means we're going to have 5 minutes left. It's a feat in itself to just get to the rings in 14 minutes, let alone do any reps when you get there.
Doniso going through her power cleans at the 180 rep mark. They will move to the rings, and Carlos Del Arco is creeping closer to that, as is Fernandez. And Antonio Sanchez is putting on a bit of a charge here too. 5 remaining for Del Arco in the dark blue shorts. Fernandez on the left side of your screen has now 6 remaining. Doniso with a good pace on the barbell as well on the right side.
Sort of special moment for these athletes. Opening up 2023 CrossFit Games season in front of their home crowd, their home affiliates, their friends, their teammates, all cheering them on.
Now Del Arco has now tied Laura Horvath's score from 2014. Approaching the 10-minute mark, so 4 minutes will remain as Del Arco is 20 muscle-ups away from completing a full round here.
And as we say, here's where the time starts to bleed out and really fast forward to the finish line, because Del Arco finished, I want to say almost like a minute ago, and he is still yet to get back up to the ring. So again, it's not how fast you get there, it's how you get there. That's the challenge.
Del Arco and Fernandez to work on the rings. Antonio Sanchez has 3 reps remaining on his cleans, as does Doniso. who is about ready to tie Horvath's score from 2014.
And she's actually made up a lot of ground since she got off the rower.
She's had a great pace on that barbell, just fast singles, and now she is done. And she'll have a little more than 3 minutes to rack up some muscle-ups here. Fernandez and Del Arco continuing to work away on their set of 20 muscle-ups. Antonio Sanchez is going to be joining them soon as he has completed his 30 cleans. Granizo failing her first attempt there.
Hey, I think she's got that. Just got to wait a little bit longer. I mean, listen, if we're not going to get 20, let's just focus on getting that first one, because each rep you get when we're talking about leaderboard and that positioning are hundreds and hundreds of places every rep of the muscle-ups.
Del Arco is 192 reps into his round of 200 here. If he can get through 200, he'll get back to the rower. And he has 2 minutes to get there. Fernandez is now just 10 away. And Sanchez on the left side of your screen has yet to start. In the community here from Full CrossFit is behind Fernandez. Here goes Granizo again and just can't get through.
These are the tests we want to see in the open. You can get there. Everyone's got a shot, but now we're going to separate those that can and those that can't yet.
With 5 remaining for Del Arco. Here goes Granizo again. This place is going to come unglued as she gets through. Oh.
I tell you, man, she's close. She's close. Really, just take a little break. Take a little break. Give yourself some rest. We're not trying to get 10. We're just trying to get 1.
Well, Del Arco is now 3 away from getting back to the rower.
If you didn't do this back in 2014, the second 10 muscle-ups of the 20 are a night and day difference as far as difficulty. It's wild how tough these things got in the second half.
And Del Arco now failing a rep. He's just 2 away. Sanchez on the left side of your screen has failed a couple. Fernandez back up and just can't lock it out.
And that's the difficulty of the muscle-up. We get so fixated on a big pulling movement, but it's actually the dip out.
Oh, man, I just want to see her get that one. And Del Arco is trying to lock that one out, and he has it. Back to the rower. 15 seconds to go. Left. So Carlos Del Arco, 205 reps to take the heat, gets back to the rower. Impressive, impressive work from all 4 athletes that we saw here. There is Camila Granizo, who is unable to complete a rep on the rings. You got to think she's going to take another go at this one, but you mentioned all the benchmarks from 2014.
Yes.
Now, I think we're going to have a lot more athletes getting back to those toes to bar on the men's side and rower on the women's side.
I cannot wait to see what athletes do with this test. This is one of my favorite open tests ever programmed over the last 13 years, but once you got to the toes to bar, that's one of those things that's going to tax your grip and tax your core, which you need both of when we get to the back part of those 20 ring muscle-ups. But on the wall ball shots, again, a little bit, I would say, higher standard for wall ball shots, getting that bar clearly above the line. But once you got to the cleans towards the end, everybody bunched up a little bit. But these dips, the first 10, drastically different from the last 10. So here we have our elite athletes watching in the wings. I think you start to learn a little bit after the first heat goes.
It's Carlos Del Arco who was able to get himself back to the rower and crank out 5 calories in the process. Luis Fernandez was just 6 reps away from completing a full round, and neither Sanchez nor Granizo were able to complete a muscle up. But a lot of fun watching the local athletes throw down. Let's go to the competition floor. Lauren Smith standing by.
What a matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, Camilla Granizo! I can't begin to imagine how difficult that was with 3 other lanes of men, especially when you were rowing the same amount. How did you keep your cool?
I just focused on my own and stopped seeing the one that was next to me because he was speeding. He was speeding so much, but it's okay. Just focus on your things.
You said you wanted to go out there and enjoy yourself. Was that accomplished?
Yes. But when the muscle-ups got in my way, it was like, oh, keep calm, because the muscle-ups hit a lot.
Well, you had an entire stadium willing you on to get those muscle-ups. I hope you enjoyed every second of it. Carlos, that looked like some hard work. How did you get the pacing right, or arguably didn't you when you were faced with those muscle-ups?
Well, I start so fast, so first bites start easy, slow because the workout is very long, and in the ring muscle up, it was so hard because of my pace in the row and those 2 bar and the cleans.
Will you do it again?
What? Say again, please?
Will you do that workout again?
No, because one and done this year, but it's so fun. So please do the workout on tomorrow, Saturday, Monday, because it's really, really fun. And with all this crowd, was unbelievable. Thank you so much.
I love you were just like, no. Anyway, Heat 1 is done and dusted, but don't go anywhere because we have the elites waiting in the wings, and they're up next.
The 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Open is presented by GoWad, the official mobility partner of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. NOBULL, the official footwear and apparel brand of CrossFit. Rogue, the official equipment supplier of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. And Trifecta, the official meal delivery partner of CrossFit.
The CrossFit ethos was born naturally out of what we do and how we do it. We say you just have to show up and do the work. No snake oil, no fitness hacks here. Make the choice to be consistent each day with both diet and exercise, and you will get the results. This rewards and develops work ethic and discipline. Your effort is measurable, and you're going to share your results with us and with each other with visible scores on the whiteboard. This fosters accountability and courage. And because it's infinitely scalable, that is, we scale to meet you where you are. We don't change programs. Everyone knows the challenge you faced, and you're respected and welcome for your effort, no matter who you are or where you land on the scoreboard. These are key ingredients that build genuine camaraderie and belonging.
Just like a stretching app, you download it on your phone, and I think it's pretty awesome. You can go that you take like a mobility test before you start it, and then it gives you personalized flows for every day to kind of like work on the things that you're bad at. You guys give it a shot if you guys haven't. All good? Great. Good job, guys. Thanks for coming.
CrossFit isn't just some strange alchemy. In truth, it's a formula that works.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115,
It's the formula for everything we do, from forging elite fitness to preventing and reversing chronic disease. It's the inputs that give us the outcomes, the results that have revolutionized an industry and changed millions of lives across the world for the better. This formula is the CrossFit methodology plus our ethos. This is the authentic, no bullshit heart of what we believe in and stand upon. And this is all brought to life by our coaches and lived and reinforced by our community. This defines who we are and what we do, and ultimately leads to the results, culture, and community that everyone recognizes as CrossFit.
Welcome back to 23.1, presented by GoWOD. We've seen exactly what this workout could look like as our affiliate athletes threw down. But now, it's the turn of the pros. Competing in his 7th CrossFit Open, ranked 5th worldwide, with 2 CrossFit Games appearances, from Serbia, Lazar Dukic. Competing in his 11th CrossFit Open, with 9 CrossFit Games appearances, and with a worldwide ranking of 3rd, from Iceland, Bjorgvin, Karl, Gudmundsson. With 5 CrossFit Games appearances and 3 podium finishes at only 25 years old, now entering her 10th CrossFit Open as the 2nd highest ranked female worldwide. It's Horvath! A 5-time CrossFit Games athlete in both elite and team, ranked 6th in the world as she makes her Open announcement debut, Migala!
Getting set to take on 23.1, a repeat of 14.4. Rowing, toes to bar, wall ball shots, cleans, and muscle ups. Now, 2 of the athletes on the floor have done this before. Laura Horvath, as we mentioned, 180 reps. That was back in 2014. I'm sure she will beat that here this evening. And Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson put up a score of 251, so got back to the rower, but unable to complete those 60 calories in round 2. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape presented by Wild Health. For the men, Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson and Lazar Dukic, 2 men who were right next to each other when it was all said and done on the overall leaderboard at the 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games.
What I love about this is this is such a great test for these 2 athletes and their skill sets. They've got a little bit of mix and match in there. BKG's strength and skills when it comes to the rings, but Dukic's engine is one of the top that we've seen, so I can't wait to see these 2 go head to head.
On the women's side, Laura Horvath comes in ranked 2nd in the world. Gabi Migala is 6th. Friends off the competition floor, now frenemies on it.
And you love to see them compete against each other. They're happy when they're side by side, but here on the floor, they're going to be going for it. I'm really curious to see how Gabi can hang with Laura, especially with the row and those muscle ups at the end.
Let's talk about the recipe for success presented by Trifecta. Did you add any ingredients here?
I mean, this is what selective intensity is, exactly what we're talking about to lead things off. Be very selective where you are intense in this chipper, and be humble before the rings. Get yourself there the right way, and don't overthink or don't have any high expectations of your ability when you get to the rings.
Let's get this thing started. To get us kicked off, back to competition director Adrian Bosman.
Madrid, get ready in 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, go!
Here we go. 60 calories on the rower to start us off here in 23.1 from the Caja Mágica in Madrid, Spain. Lazar, Dukic, Bjorgvin, Karl, Gudmundsson, Horvath, and Gabriela Migala.
First 60 cals. Well, here's the thing. 10 years ago, everything was a bit of a buy-in until you got to the rings, because maybe you got through and got to the rower. If you're a male or female athlete, 4 men actually got to the toes of bar. We're talking about 10 years removed, 10 years of people improving their fitness worldwide. If you're gonna get to the toes of bar as a male athlete, you're actually gonna have to push the pace a little bit harder than you may want to for the entirety of this. And on the women's side, it's just how strong they have gotten on muscle capacity, barbell cycling, and these monostructural movements. So I'm very excited to see what the women do this year.
Sam Briggs at the top score in 2014 for the women, 256 reps. That's 56 calories on the rower in round 2. Karl Saunders was second that year at 236 reps. Lazar Dukic is already halfway through, more than halfway through. Bjorgvin Gudmundsson a couple rep calories behind him. Horvath right there as well.
See Lazar staying very relaxed, taking some big deep breaths in there, just trying to make sure he's getting a lot of oxygen into the body, because we're gonna, once you get to the toes to bar wall ball shots, when those legs start getting involved, it's gonna be starting to suck the oxygen out of the muscle. So being nice and long here, nice breathing pattern, and just trying to keep that heart rate down, because getting off the rower right around 230 or so is as fast as you really need to go if you want to make sure that you can put some intensity on the later parts of this test.
It's only 6 calories remaining for Dukic. Migala's got 20 left. Gudmundsson into his final 10, and Horvath with 15, now 14 to go. And Dukic is done. About 2 minutes, 10 seconds for Lazar Dukic on the row. Now to the 50 toes to bar.
And a sign of a decent pace is how quick your transitions are from movement to movement. And the fact that he hops off at about a 2:14, 2:15, about a 5-second transition to toes to bar, that's a very confident and comfortable Lazar Dukic.
Because Bjorgvin, Karl, Gudmundsson, Horvath with 5 calories remaining. Gabriela Migala with 6. So Migala's been able to close the gap a little bit on Horvath here in the latter part of the 60-calorie row. 14 minutes here in 23.1.
Dukic is ripping off a huge set to start this off. But if you think about some of his strengths, long aerobic tests, some work capacity, toes to bar, his performance in 2021 in that toes to bar run event, I mean, this is definitely one that sets him up for success.
Horvath and Migala got to the pull-up bar about the same time. Migala is going to re-chalk her hands as Dukic ripped off a set of 25 and then got back to work at the 110 rep mark is when he will move on to the wall balls. So Dukic with 10 remaining. Gudmundsson about ready to hit the 100 mark. Horvath at 80 and counting. Gabi Migala back to work on her toes to bar. That's what awaits. The wall balls, 40 reps. As Dukic is going to get done with 60 calories on the rower and 50 toes to bar in less than 4 minutes.
I mean, that's very impressive feat. And again, as I said, look at the transitions if you want to tell how comfortable an athlete is going from movement to movement. He just basically hit the ground, turned around, pick it up. Same thing for Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson, even though he got a no rep on that first shot.
And once again, the standard for the wall ball this year a little bit different. The middle of the ball has to be clearly above the line, not at the line, clearly above it. Gudmundsson on to the wall balls as well. 150 rep mark. They'll head to the barbell for the 30 cleans. Horvath is now done with her 50 toes to bar. Gabi Migala with just 6 remaining on that movement. And that should not be a problem for the number 6 woman in the worldwide rankings. And now she's finished. Gudmundsson and Dukic continuing to work on the wall balls. Gudmundsson another no rep. Now Dukic knocked out all 40, and he's right to the barbell. And right to work.
And just look how comfortable he is. Calm face, easy breathing. He's not gasping for air. And that steady single pace is that this is an opportunity for these athletes who had a strong row, big sets on toes to bar, unbroken on the wall ball shots. Now they have an opportunity, I would say, not to catch their breath, because that would be overstating it just a little bit, but a time to just kind of pull back on the intensity a bit, do quick singles, because quick, easy singles here is going to set yourself up for hopefully less sets on the rings.
Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson is onto the cleans as well. 180 is the number they're looking to hit before they will head to the rings. And Gabi Migala closing out her wall balls. Horvath is on to the barbell. Laura Horvath, who again in 2014 didn't get a single muscle up.
No, she didn't, but again, that was 10 years ago. And there's one thing that people might not understand or know about Laura Horvath, is that she is actually very good at ring muscle-ups. In 2018, when we had the 30 ring muscle-ups for time, she placed 3rd in that event, and that was her rookie debut at the CrossFit Games.
She often gets attention for what she can't do and not credit for all the things that she can do.
Right, so we're talking about one thing she can't do as well as as you said, Sean, everything else that she is good at. And this is an event that I really like for Laura Horvath. And for her is just getting the season started. Obviously, we have no Tia Toomey this year, so it's wide open at the top when you think about games podium. But I really like this test for Laura Horvath's skill set.
Lazar Dukic has now just 2 reps remaining before he will get to the rings. Bjorgvin Gudmundsson, 6 reps back of him. And Dukic is done. 7 minutes, 12 seconds to get through all that work. The tie break time, again, is the time at which you get to the rings. Lazar Dukic ripping away now on the rings, and Laura Horvath is going to demolish her time from 14.4 as she makes it to the rings. Gabi Migala with 5 reps to go. Bjorgvin Gudmundsson has finished his cleans, and he is onto the rings as well. Gudmundsson in 2014 did get back to the rower. He was able to complete 256 calories.
Lazar on the far left ripped off a set of 7.
Gudmundsson goes 4 and breaks. Laura Horvath is continuing to stay on the rings through 5 of those 20 reps, now 6.
We touched on the compounding effect of this chipper. The 60-cal row to start. It's going to be lungs, legs, and biceps. Then you move to the toes to bar, grip, core, hip flexors. If you go to the wall ball shots, legs, hip flexors, shoulders, and then the power cleans of the the hip extension hinge and that rack position all lead to make this as hard as it can be for just 20 reps on the rings.
So Bjorgvin Gudmundsson get a no rep for failing to completely lock out at the top. Gabi Migala onto the rings. 5 reps and a break for her. Laura Horvath now with 10 to go.
And that dip out is the hardest part of the ring muscle up if you have the capacity to do multiple reps. It's not getting on top of the rings that's the toughest part for a ring muscle up. People think it's just a pulling movement. It's not. It's a pull and a push, but the push is the most difficult part when it comes to cycling these ring muscle ups.
Lazar Dukic is just 3 away from closing out round number 1. Gudmundsson 7 away, Horvath 7 away as well, and Gabi Migala has 12 left.
Sean, as you said, if he can get this done, getting to the rower right about that 10-minute mark, he finished the row in the toes to bar in under 4 minutes last time. So we're talking about, can anybody get to the toes to bar and get any reps there? Lazar, I mean, he has an opportunity to have a big chunk of toes to bar if he can keep the same pace he started with.
2 minutes 9 seconds was his row time from round 1. Is now Laura Horvath is going to make it back to the rower. The top score for the men from 2014 belonged to Rich Froning at 277 reps. Froning was able to do 17 reps on the toes to bar. Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson on his final muscle up. Gabi Migala with 10 to go.
Sean, we talked about this a little bit earlier once we got this, we heard this was announced. And we said, how amazing would it be if any of the women out there could beat or get close to the best male score from 10 years ago. You want to see how far we've progressed? Don't compare apples to apples. Let's do some apples to oranges here. It's the same number of cals between men and women. It's the same number of muscle-ups between men and women. And maybe we could have a female athlete beat the best score from the men 10 years ago.
Horvath is 10 calories into the 60-calorie row here in round 2. Dukic is now 25 calories in. Now Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson back onto the rower. First time he did this test, he was able to complete 56 calories in round 2. Gabi Migala now has 3 reps remaining on the muscle-ups. Lazar Dukic is now past the halfway point, 34 calories in, now 35 and counting. Gabi Migala in the background there on her final rep of ring muscle-ups. And she is going to be able to get back to the rower. 2 minutes left here. Lazar Dukic is through 49 calories on this row.
He's starting to lengthen up his stroke a bit. Those middle 20 cals, he's doing about a half stroke, leaning more into the hips and legs than it was the upper body.
Bjorgvin Gudmundsson, I misspoke, I said 256, 251 in 2014. So Gudmundsson is gonna beat that. Now Lazar Dukic is looking to beat Rich Froning's top score. Dukic did that row in under 3 minutes, so about 252 for Dukic, and now right to work on the toes to bar. 277, the top score for the men in 2014, and Dukic is now 11 away from that. Laura Horvath, meanwhile, is creeping up on the top score from the women from 2014, put up by Samantha Briggs of 256. Gudmundsson has beaten his score. And Lazar Dukic now 4 away from Rich Froning's mark. Gudmundsson is done. He'll get back to the toes to bar. 30 seconds to go. And Dukic now has the best score that we have ever seen in this test. Laura Horvath off the rower. 20 seconds for her now to amass some reps here on the toes to bar, something that we did not see from any woman in 2014. Five seconds left. Lazar Dukic continuing to work. 287 if he gets credit for that last rep. We'll have to see if Dukic got credit for that. Right now his score reads at 286. Laura Horvath got some reps completed on the toes to bar, unofficially 6 for her. And Gabi Migala gets back to the rower. We wondered how much progress we have made in 9 years. The answer is a lot. Absolutely incredible.
The pace at which Dukic started with was unreal, but still, he was able to hold on to it the entire time.
What an impressive performance from Lazar Dukic. 286. Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson demolishes his score from 2014 and is 1 rep away from the best score we saw that year at 276. And Laura Horvath night and day from her first go at this test.
And Sean, how great is that score from Rich Froning? I mean, nearly a decade later.
What an impressive way to start the season for Lazar Dukic. As you mentioned it, the pacing on point for him throughout.
And his pacing was. I'm not necessarily recommending that to anybody else as far as it comes to that, but how fast his transitions were. The big sets he did on toes bar never ended up biting him in the long run. He was playing exactly to his skill set when he made his big move into the wall balls. Oh, I had another rep to go before he got to the wall ball. So, but when he got here, both him and BKG went unbroken for the first 40 reps. We look at just moving from one movement to the next, steady on the clean, singles right from the start, let that bar settle, get your hands on the bar. Then once they got to the rings, BKG had a couple of no reps. It actually slowed him down, I think, a bit more than we thought, but Laura Horvath, the way she navigated the first round of this was massively impressive. And then Dukic gets done with about 4 minutes left to go, gets off the rower in enough time to set the best score we've seen in that repeat. Migala back to the rower. Only 21 women did that back in 2014. She was able to get back here. It's kicking things off for 23.1.
And Gabi Migala able to get back to the rower as well. But Lazar Dukic, the best score that we have seen in this test ever. And he is with Lauren Smith.
He is indeed. Lazar, huge congratulations. Firstly, wall balls, rowing, toes to bar, 3 massive strengths of yours. How did you strategize that workout knowing that you could play to those strengths?
Well, if I'm about to do it again, I would strategize a bit differently, but adrenaline and the crowd was just super amazing, and I started rowing like too hard, and my first set of toes to bar was too long. Like, should have break the toes to bars earlier in the first set, but happy with the performance, and yeah, 3 of my biggest strengths probably. Glad it was done when I'm doing the announcement, so you're pretty happy with everything, and shout out to the crowd. You guys were super amazing. Good job.
You came off the rower first. You went for that big set of 25 toes to bar. Was that maybe to mess with BKG's head a little bit of a psychological game?
No, like I usually, if I have like, with Mayhem Athlete, we do a lot of toes to bars, and if I have 50, I usually start with 25, but after the row, and especially after this intense rowing, I should have done like probably what my coach said, like 15-15, and then like 10-10, so yeah, it was fine, but if you guys are about to do it, just go a little bit easier on toes to bar. Yeah.
Moral of the story, always listen to your coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Lazar Dukic. Laura, again, another incredible performance from yourself. In the history of the sport, you're the first person to make it back to the toes to bar. A wild change from 2014 last time. Talk me through the mindset of that workout.
When it came out, I didn't remember, to be honest, what was the best time. So I asked my brother Christoph to look it up. And I saw that Sam Briggs finished the row. So I was like, I have to go back to the toes to bars. So in my mind, I was going to do as many toes to bars as I can in the second round. That was my goal, which I achieved. So I was really happy about it.
Now, it's not like you're new to the scene. We know that you're going to do some damage in the game season, but I do have to ask, with no Tia-Claire Toomey, we've just found out Hayley Adams isn't going to be competing. Does it feel like this year is yours?
I won't necessarily say it's mine, but I'm there to fight for it. So my goal is to win the CrossFit Games, as everyone else knows, because why would I compete if that wasn't my goal? So I'm going for the top, for sure.
Thank you for being such an incredible ambassador for European CrossFit. I hope you enjoyed tonight. And, well, you guys, I know you need to catch your breaths a little bit, but you need to head on off that way because you're going to be analyzing your own performances and breaking down what you just did with Chase Ingram on the Cool Down Show presented by Rosti. Until then, when you're taking on 23.1, here are some tips and tricks to get you through it.
Open 23.1 is taking us back in time to 2014 because it is a repeat of the workout 14.4. Now 60 calories on the rower might seem daunting, but you can all get through it. This workout is not one on the rower, so stay smooth and think about the work you have coming up next. Keep those eyes up, keep your chest up, and think about keeping your hands level on every row stroke. Now, as you move to those toes to bar, having a plan will help you a lot. Try to find set sizes that you can repeat throughout those 50 toe to bar without hitting failure. Keep in mind you're going to need that grip for later on those cleans as well as those muscle ups. Now moving to those wall ball shots, think about pushing the hips back during each squat to keep those heels firmly planted on the ground so you can get a nice, powerful squat. If needed, as you start to fatigue, maybe even add in a little jump just to make sure that that ball gets all the way over that designated target. Now moving on to those cleans. I know my weightlifters out there are ready to go, but think about a little bit of strategy here. First, maybe start off with a set of 5 to 10 reps. Then after that, use small sets or singles to keep chipping your way through those 30 cleans, saving your grip and a little extra stamina for those muscle ups or maybe even your first muscle up. One other thing to think about on those cleans is as you cycle them, that bar is likely going to move further and further away from the body. We might get a little bit lazy in that midline. Take an extra second during each setup to pull that bar in close to the shins, squeeze your abs, and arch that chest up before you grip and rip. Now on those muscle ups, efficiency is your friend. Take a couple extra seconds as you transition off the cleans, squeeze your legs together, drive those knees and hips high, and remember to kip that dip. That's 23.1. Coaches and affiliate owners, make sure you check out the free class plans from CrossFit Affiliate Programming. If you're looking to run this effectively inside of your affiliate, that class plan will include recommended general and specific warm-ups, as well as logistical tips to help you run this effectively regardless of your equipment needs. As always, make sure you check out the movement standards as well as information about each division from the official scorecards that you can download at games.crossfit.com. Good luck, and I'll see you on the leaderboard.
The 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Open is presented by GoWad, the official mobility partner of the NOBULL. NOBULL CrossFit Open is presented by GoWad, the official mobility partner of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. Rogue, the official equipment supplier of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. Wild Health, the official precision medicine partner of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. And O2 Hydration, the official sports drink of the NOBULL CrossFit Games.
Castings. For simple shapes, a complete solid pattern may be used. A mold box is filled with special molding sand that is rammed home around the pattern. The molten metal, at precisely the right temperature, is poured into the mold. The assemblies are tumbled. Shaping is done with the aid of machinery, and the fine finish is evidence of the craftsmanship that has gone to their design and construction.
Arasti has been a huge part of CrossFit Optimistic for over a decade now. Specifically for remote recovery, I was able to check in with Arasti from anywhere.
VIP chat is an easy way to connect to experts and get some input on an injury. I 100% trust them and always refer my athletes to them because you can keep moving and still get better.
People should use Arasti in the open simply because they're gonna fix my pain fast, and that means I can get back to the gym for Friday Night Lights.
Welcome to the 23.1 Cool Down Show presented by Arasti. If you're dealing with pain or an injury, don't let that sideline you. Arasti can help. Talk to an Arasti provider for free. To schedule your no-cost 15-minute chat, scan the QR code or visit arasti.com/recovery-CrossFit to learn more. Hey everyone, Chase Ingram here with our 23.1 winners, Laura Horvath, Lazar Dukic. I would say you guys had an impressive go at 23.1, but the most impressive thing is the fact you're standing here and not keeled over dead after the performance like that. What was harder, 23.1 or just trying to put on a brave face at the moment?
Probably the second one.
Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to go through each of your individual performances through 23.1, break down each section, things that you had planned, changed plan, maybe something you do differently for yourself, or maybe for some of the athletes that will be watching y'all's performance going in for the rest of the weekend. Laura, we're gonna start with you. You got through the row, you got to the toes of bar, absolutely incredible performance. At the start of this, before you even got to the rower, what was your plan coming into the row on the first 60 cals?
So I was aiming at rowing at like 1,100 calories per hour, which I achieved. And that was basically my goal on the rower, just like keep calm, and this is the start of the workout. The whole workout is gonna get harder later on, so just like set myself up for success. So like moderately hard, like good pace row.
And for you, is that it's a comfortable pace when you get to the toes bar, quick transition. Now, how you break up your toes bar, what was the plan going in for the 50 toes bar?
My goal was to do 2 sets, which I did. I did 30 toes bars, and then I did 20 toes bars.
Whoa! And after the first 30, you're like, yeah, no problem, I can do another set of 20?
Yes, I'm really strong on the toes bars, so I know I can make up some time there, so get through quick on the toes bars. So I knew I was gonna do big sets.
So for the wall ball shots, you did 30-20 on the toes bar. What was the plan coming in for the 40 wall ball shots?
The wall ball shots, like for me, specifically in the workout, they were like low target, light balls, so it was like a recovery part, so I just kept thinking like breathe, do them like efficiently, but breathe, like, recover on the 40 toes bars to be like, could push on the power cleans.
Yeah, well, we talked earlier before we even got this was choosing where to go hard and where not. You're comfortable on the row, big sets on toes bar, a little recovery on the wall ball shots to get into the power cleans you had here. You start off with a set of 5. Was it just, we're gonna get a big set until I wanna drop it and then singles from there?
Yeah, I think you're doing a big touch and go set, big, 5 is not that many, but 5 touch and go is way faster than the singles. So I was like, let's do like something I feel comfortable with touch and go, and then just get into a rhythm with the singles.
Now from the power cleans to the rings, you are very good at ring muscle ups with your skill set. And how confident were you getting to the rings? Then how did that confidence stay on maybe that first set when you started your 20?
So for me, the goal in the workout was to get through the muscle ups as fast as I could. And I knew I wanted to do maximum 3 sets.
Okay.
So when I was done with the power cleans, I went to the rig, chalked up, took like 10 seconds, I think, before I jumped up to the rings. So I knew I could do a big-ish set, like 7-8 reps, which I did. and then drop down, recover, quick jog, breathe, and then when I felt like I was ready, like 3, 2, 1, go in my head, I said, and then I jumped up, did another biggish set, 6 or 7 reps, drop down, jog again, and I rested a little longer because I knew I wanted to do the last set unbroken, because that break could like go out to like 20 seconds, 15-second break. That's like so big. So instead, rest like 5, 6 seconds more before the big set, make it unbroken, and then go to the row and like full send as much as you can.
Well, and that's the question, is getting to the rower with that much time left, knowing it's like, okay, we're going to get to the 60 cals, but your goal was get to toes to bar before we even started.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So I knew when I got on the rower that I can just row like easy. I knew I wanted to do like 11 to 1200 calories per hour again, start with on the rower. So like start with like getting high up and then settle into a pace and then try to push the last 10 to 15 calories so I can go back onto the pull-up bar and do some toes to bars.
Well, it was amazing. It got through the row, the second row, into the toes to bar. Absolutely incredible. Lazar, for you, you started really slow on the rower, about a, what, 214 and 60 cals?
Well, my plan was to go around 1600, and that's what I did. But for me, rower is a strength, so I tried to utilize that strength. So I wouldn't change the row, even if I repeat it.
And coming off the row into the toes to bar, you started off with a set of 25. You spoke to it earlier after that as like, maybe, was that when you think you bit off a little more than you should have?
Yeah. The thing is, I'm doing a lot of toes to bars in training, and they're also my strength. But after that intense row, I would have, if I am to choose now, I would start with maybe 15. The thing is, I had a little misunderstanding with my judge, because when I did 40, I understand him done instead of 40. So I went to wall ball. He's like, you did 40, you did 10.
Yeah.
So I did 4 sets on the toes to bar, which should have been 3 sets. But still happy with how it went, and if toes to bar, that's it.
Well, Laura's talking about the 40 wall ball shots being that little bit of a break time for her. For you going into those 40, how was that? How did you really like place that in importance in this chipper?
If you ask me, this is the rest in this workout.
Recovery, okay? Let's
recovery, yes. Recovery.
That's 40 wall ball shots.
That's
I was
the
like,
right
yes,
word.
rest, of course.
That's the right word, recovery. So just like try to do good reps. Try to avoid any no reps, which I didn't have any, so happy about that. If I would to do it again, I would start swinging my arms just to rest my shoulders a bit for the ring muscle ups.
Well, and before we got to the rings, you still had the power cleans to do. You started off with singles right off the bat, knowing that that rack position is going to get more fatigued for the rings later. Was quick singles your plan from the get-go, or you had a maybe it's like, oh, like Laura did, a couple touch and go as far as I can?
No. Like I said, I started a bit. I started with too many toes to bars, so my grip was already a little bit compromised. So I wanted to save it for muscle ups, and I went with singles all the way. But I think it was the right choice, because like quick singles and touch and go with rest, I would choose quick singles.
And how those muscle ups feel based off that strategy?
Well, muscle ups were. I was fatigued in my grip and my shoulders, so my plan was to go for 4 sets. I think I did 4 sets, and I got 1 no rep, which kind of threw me off a bit, but still did it in a reasonable amount of time, and yeah, pretty happy with that.
Wow, finishing right under 10 minutes. Now, you have all these things that you wish you would have done better or done. Will you do this again, or is this a one and done open season?
It's one and done. Like, I would strategize differently, but with the adrenaline and with the crowd pushing me, I think like my score would be around the same.
Laura, for you, watching the leaderboard to see if anybody gets you. If not, will you change your mind, or are you going to stick with one as well?
I'm very happy with the score, and it was really, really good for me, so I won't be doing this again.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations to you both, and all the other athletes took on 23.1 here at the Caja Mágica. Amazing outpour of support here for the European community. It was so nice to be here and really showcase what community we have here in Spain and Europe in general. For all of you guys going to tackle 23.1. Go back and watch the tips and tricks we have for you in the performance of these amazing athletes from start to finish. It is now your turn around the world to start your 2023 Games season. For Sean Woodland, Lauren Smith, I am Chase Ingram. 23.1 is open and ready for fitness.
Yeah, good
Next week, the Open heads to the Garden State. Two of the top male athletes in the world are set to face off in New Jersey. Roman Krennikov made the most of his debut in Madison. Now, the second fittest man on earth looks to continue his climb to the top of the Games podium. Pat Vellner has long worn the crown in Canada. This year, the King in the North is hoping to prove he still belongs on the throne. It's the new guard against the seasoned vet, Krennikov versus Vellner. In 23.2, live from CrossFit Bison.